Hello and welcome. In this video, I wanted to share with you the process of making this mixed media doodle art piece in my sketchbook. So I'm working in a sketchbook that's meant for sketching, and I covered the pages with acrylic paint. It was a mixture of blue and white. I drew a border around the page, as I oftentimes do. For the black lines, I used a Rotring Isograph technical pen, 1 millimeter thick, so it creates a pretty broad line. For the gold, I used the uni-ball signo broad gel pen in gold. And for this red, I used the Liquitex professional paint marker in fluorescent red. I started off this doodle by creating all sorts of ropes or stripes or strips of a doodle pattern that go from one place to another in the page. The strips look like they're behind one another just because I'm drawing one after I draw another, and I think that ends up looking nice in the end. Sometimes it's hard to start because you have this blank page and you just don't know where to start. So what I like to do is just come up with one idea and implement it and go from there. So my initial idea was these strips or ropes, and as I went along, the strips might have looked bare to me, so I added some designs inside each strip. And after a while, I got tired of drawing strips and I felt like doing some different kind of embellishments like scallops or triangles or zigzag shapes or anything else to move along. So this is a pretty big spread for a doodle like this. Even though the markers are pretty thick, it does take over an hour to doodle this, maybe 2 hours. As I was doodling this, I thought, okay, this looks boring. There is not enough interest in the page. What I've learned from the past is to just work through that. So even though you think this doodle is boring, it's not gonna look interesting in the end, just keep going. And in the parts that seem boring to you, just keep adding more designs and more detail. And in the end, it'll look fine. It'll look interesting. It might not be your favorite page in your sketchbook, but it'll still be something that you're proud of yourself that you finished and didn't leave in your sketchbook half finished. For example, you can see these sort of starry shapes that I drew. There was a time when I thought, okay, I'll just cover the whole background with these starry shapes or bacteria sort of shaped designs floating in the air. But I thought to myself, yeah, I don't think it's gonna look very interesting if the whole background is gonna look like that. And it's okay to just quit and switch it up. So I switched it up to different doodle designs and different doodle shapes. Another thing I did here was, for example, to work with black lines for a while and then switch it up to the gold and go back into the place where there are only black lines and incorporate some gold dots or gold stripes, or sort of mixing up the colors so you don't have areas that are completely done in black and then areas that are completely done in gold. I wanted to have the gold embellishing the black and the black embellishing the gold. And the cool thing about India ink is that it's opaque, so you can use the black over any other color and it'll look black. And also this gold gel pen is opaque, so you can use the gold gel pen over any other color and it'll look gold. So I can use the black over the gold and I can use the gold over the black, which is pretty awesome. This paint marker is opaque, but it's not as opaque as the black or the gold. So I could use it over the blue background to get an opaque red, but if I used it over the black ink, it would smear the black and make a big mess. So in order to incorporate many colors into areas of red, I used the black and the gold over the red or around the red to create some interest and variation in the doodle. And it was approximately at this point where I felt, okay, the doodle is getting interesting. It's got all kinds of things going on. This was fun to do. And I was happy that I went along and finished it. But I definitely didn't know what it was going to look like by the time it was over. So when I just started out, it was just the beginning and I had no idea where I was going. I didn't know if I was going to like this page or not. But in the end, I'm happy that I made this doodle because, you know, if you're afraid so much of the result, if you're afraid that this page isn't going to be good enough, you're just going to get stuck. And here's the finished doodle. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to show next. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.